You ready?
Good to see
Okay.
you.
Well, thank you guys for coming around. I know the traffic was a little crazy tonight.
A little bad.
The reason we're here is Mr. Belt, who owns the property at 736 Queenstown Road, many years ago, before COVID actually, he did a bunch of work on his property and added a bunch of what they call impervious surfaces. And he did it without a grading permit.
What's impervious surface?
Like asphalt and sheds and walkways and sidewalks and things, you know, anything that isn't grass. So, you know, in the county, you're,
I haven't seen.
yeah, it has a fence around most of it.
Yeah.
But so,
I'm directly across the street from him. So
Yeah.
I've been in his backyard, side yard.
oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about all the individual components, but anyway, this was 2017. The county came out and said, look, you can't, you did all this work without a permit, you're gonna have to, you know, either remove it or do something. So he hired me, and what we're doing is, we're getting what's called a grading permit after the fact, right? He didn't get the grading permit when he should have, but you can go in and say, okay, I'm sorry, this is all the things we're gonna do to make it right, and the county can issue a grading permit for that work and bring him up to code.
When you say grading permit, you're talking about the.
Well, just a permit to do the work, permit to,
Like the road
to install
driveway.
things, yeah. So, the true, now, that wouldn't normally cause a community meeting. The reason that the only reason this community meeting is happening is because right across the back of his lot, right at the base of the Route 100 fill, there's a stream that runs along, it's kind of straight. It sort of looks like a drainage ditch, but it's on the state property, state highway property. And it is considered a stream. There's flow in it year round. And that stream, under county regulations, has a 100-foot buffer, right? You can't, by law, disturb anything within 100 feet of that stream without getting permission first. You here for Queenstown? No, okay. So, because some of the things that he did are gonna be removed within that 100-foot buffer, not only did he need permission to do that to begin with, but now he needs permission to remove it because it's still within that buffer, that kind of no-fly zone. So here's the property, I'll just orient you. Queenstown Rd comes up this way, then goes across 100, goes back this way to BW and A, right? Baltimore, Washington, Apples. Route 100's here, right in his backyard. This kind of wedge property before the road goes over Route 100 is a state highway property.
Yeah, that's where my parents' house was, and
Yeah.
they forced them to move.
You did that.
Yeah.
And then we have some lots. There's a lot right along here. I don't know if any of you are in these immediate adjacent lots.
We're in 735.
Okay,
We
so
directly
you're right here.
across from
You're right. That's you. Or part of you, anyway. Oh, right across the street, you said. All right. So, what did he do? So he installed all these walkways along the back, and he did some pavers and some landscaping, and he put in a basketball court, and there's a road from his front driveway that goes all the way around the back of the house
Right.
and around to this back corner. And in that back corner, he had a shipping container and a little garage, and he put in a deck, and he put in some other stuff. And he did that without, like I said, without permits. So, what he has to do now is remove enough stuff and provide some water quality treatment, stormwater management, to be able to be within the law. The biggest removal that he will have to do is going to be this asphalt drive that goes all the way around the backside, right? That not only is within the stream buffer, right, but it's kind of the largest bit of impervious surface that is on the property. Instead, he's gonna reconfigure his driveway so that he can go back to his little garage and shipping container with a smaller road that comes off this side of his driveway.
On the opposite side,
Yes, correct.
even though you got a 2-car garage on the other side.
Correct. So the driveway, this driveway is gonna end over here, so he'll still have his, still have his access to his garage and everything. But the access around the back of the property with this asphalt drive is going to be removed. And that area is inside the 100-foot stream buffer. Here's that stream that's going right down here. So not only that, so that big piece is being removed. Excuse me. The shipping container's going. This little deck removed. Screen porch and deck over here removed. And this area back here where the asphalt, where the driveway used to be and where it kept some, like it had a bobcat and some other stuff, that's gonna be removed and turned to grass. So he'll have this small driveway here that accesses this this little garage, and that's gonna be the extent of his backyard vehicle access. Does that make sense? Anyone have any questions?
That don't make sense to me, but it's his property.
It is. What that does is,
So what plots are those back there that he quote unquote took or used from the state?
none. The state property's here. Now, this road goes right along the edge of the state property. And the state property, there's a fence back there, right? State fence back there. And the stream is on the other side of the fence. This is all his property. This is outlined by this line here.
Okay, so what you're saying is the state is impending on him into his property by 100 feet.
No. What I'm saying is, there's a stream here
Yeah.
called Sawmill Creek 2.
Yeah,
And it's right at the base. Like if the stream's there and then the
But-
hill goes up to 100.
but he's having to cut in and take out how much?
So this stream causes this setback, right? So everything on this side of this
So that's
dark
your-
dashed line
But that's your,
technically shouldn't be there.
that's your 100 feet.
Yep. So he's removing this.
But yet he has to pay property taxes on that.
Correct. Correct. If you have you can have on your property, you can have buffers, you can have wetlands, you can have floodplain, there are a lot of environmental constraints that can be on your property that don't limit your tax bill. Your tax bill's based on the
But yet
value of the
they're-
property.
So now, but now they're impeding on him.
No,
Yeah.
there's no
Well,
reason.
it's 100.
The county is saying, you did this work illegally. You did it without a permit. And you are going to have to choose which things you can keep and which things you have to take away so that you're back to where you were with the amount of impervious surface, with the amount of hard surfaces. He wants to keep all the stuff he did in his backyard, which is like these walkways and little decks and ramps and stuff. So he's gonna trade taking out that asphalt drive and a few other things for that stuff. So that in the end, it comes down to a value that the county, a number that the county's okay with. And because that work is within this stream buffer, that requires by law a community meeting, right? If somebody's gonna do work in a stream buffer, by law, and they're in your community, they have to have a meeting on the record before they can file for the variance to allow them to do this work.
Okay, so the other question is, so he takes all that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would he be fined to put trees and stuff in there?
No, he can do, as long as it's,
So
as long as it's
environmental, it's
impervious,
fine.
as long as it's grass or,
Environmentally safe.
right, it doesn't matter whether it's wooded or not wooded, but it just can't have all of that impervious
So
that
he
hard
could
surface.
literally, if he wanted to, then he could make it rock back there.
Only
As
if
the
you
road.
couldn't access it. In the county, the rule is, if you have gravel or rock down, and you can drive on it, then it's considered impervious, it's a hard surface. If you put gravel or rock down and you can't drive on it, then it's okay, the water can seep through and it's not a big deal.
The same thing, but even if you have rock and you can drive on it, you can still get water through the rock.
Yeah, but in this county, there are other counties that think differently, but in Anne Arundel County, if you can drive on a gravel
It's a common
surface,
sense thing.
it's considered the same as concrete, in essence.
Now that walkway you talking about that's in his yard, you talking about that, yeah, no, the over, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's what you saying,
That's gonna be installed. This gives him access to his garage back here like he had before back here, but he doesn't have to go into the buffer to get to it, right? So this buffer is kind of, like I said, it's like a no-fly zone. So everything on this side is a problem. So, no, okay, so also, so here's a summary. He's removing 6,757 square feet of asphalt and gravel driveway. He's installing 3 landscape infiltration devices. Now, a landscape infiltration device, just imagine a mulched bed of landscape, except it's depressed a little, right? It's a little low. And so if the soils are right, in this case they are, water can run off from hard surfaces, can go into that landscape area and infiltrate down into the ground, which is desired. That's what the environmental folks want. Because that tends to take out the impurities, the heavy metals, things of that nature, before it gets into, say, a stream like this. So there's gonna be one of those all the way across the back where this asphalt used to be. There's gonna be a landscape infiltration, and all the way across this side where there's a fence between him and the neighbor. And then there's gonna be one all the way along this side where that new access road is gonna be. And those are going to treat the impervious surfaces that either are being installed or remain. And this all back here essentially will become grass. So,
but you say he still have to pay taxes on the.
yeah, I mean, if you have an environmental constraint in your yard, you're paying taxes, but you're paying taxes based on the value of your home, not necessarily those. I mean, the size of your land matters.
Yeah, it do.
So yes, so the moral of the story is, don't buy a piece of property that has floodplain, wetlands, or a stream on it, because you'll be paying for an area that you can't use, you can't develop.
I lived in there Queenstown my whole life, I never knew a stream,
Yeah.
other than the branch.
Well, and you know what, this stream probably wasn't like it is now, you know, I think they kind of reconfigured it when they built 100.
So it's their fault.
So, yeah, you can blame the state. Okay, so what this does is, he's gonna be going in for special permission to remove this stuff back here in the stream buffer. That's code section 1706402. Development may not occur within a stream bed or within 100 feet of a non-disturbance stream buffer. So that's the law, right? No development within 100 feet of the stream.
So when did that law go into effect?
Oh, it's been since the early 80s, I think, maybe late 70s. So he's gonna have to get a variance from that law, right? He's gonna have to go in front of the county judge and say, we've done all this stuff, and I'm gonna remove all this stuff, and I need special permission to do it because it's within a stream buffer. And likely the judge is going to say yes. Now, if he were installing this, if he were putting in all this asphalt, and he went in front of the judge would be like, I don't think so. But here, he's removing it. So everybody's gonna be happy. Except for Mr. Bell, who has to pay for it all. But that's beside the point. So he's gonna be removing stuff, and that requires a variance. Code section 1702107, a community meeting is required for direct impacts to environmentally sensitive areas, including this 100-foot buffer. And that's why we're here tonight. So,
How did they they've been in the house for 17 years. How did anybody know that what was back there other than the neighbors?
Generally, somebody calls
Somebody turned
and
it.
The
complains.
sweet neighbors.
The county
I know
has,
I turned
the
it.
county has pursued this kind of doggedly, and I sometimes, people get into their own messes, but I feel bad for the property owner because the county came at him and said, you've done all this stuff, and if you don't fix it within this period of time, we're gonna start fining you big, right? So then everybody goes to court and blah, 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 and so we were working, and then COVID came, and kind of the whole thing just kind of died, right? Nobody cared, nobody was working hard. I should have put that on record. People were focused on other things. How's
You
that?
should record me.
And yeah, we're recording.
Wasn't you supposed to tell me that?
And this is on YouTube, by the way. No, yeah, but yes, it's a community meeting, it has to be recorded.
You're good.
Um,
Don't worry about it.
You know
So,
We got your back.
right. So, it kind of disappeared for a few years, and then the Office of Law sent him a letter recently that said, hey, we need to resolve this. We can't just let it go. And so that's why we're here tonight. So I think I have told you about the location, told you about the environmental features, about what he needs to do, about what he's proposing to do, and kind of what he's proposing to do, really, the new stuff is in gray here. The old stuff is all around here, and it's going to be removed. And you can look at this a little closer if you like, but there's call-outs to show what kind of stuff is going to be removed.
So are you with the,
I'm a private engineer that does work in Anne Arundel County, and he hired me to help him.
so you work for Corey?
I work for Court, yes.
Yes, I mean, I knew he had someone, but I wanted to make sure it was you.
Yes, it's me. And yeah, we've been working together for a while now, because, like I said, when COVID hit and everything kind of changed, it sort of thought it was all just gonna go away, and now it's back. So, that's really the entire amount of presentation that I have for you.
So, question, how much time does he have to make, to do all of this?
Well-
How much time's given him? That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, yes. That is yet to be determined, as far as I understand, and I don't want to be definitive on the record about the legal situation, because I'm not his attorney. I do know that he went to court recently to tell them that he was back doing work, that I was hired, that we're having this community meeting, and that we're filing this after-the-fact grading permit as quickly as possible. And then the county will decide how much time they give him at that point to actually physically do the work. Usually it's like a year-ish.
Or two.
Yeah, I'm not, again, I can't speak
When
for
they
that.
looked into this years ago and went to court.
They have, this has been going on for years.
I know, I was there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, with that, I guess what I can tell you is, okay, so you can go on the county website, on the Anne Arundel County government website, and you can see this drawing, you can see the correspondence, you can see all the things. Also on that website will be a link to the YouTube video that you're starring in right now.
No, we not.
I know, nobody watches it, don't worry. And they don't have you straight on the cameras back there pointing this way. But there'll be a link to that video, and any information that you want, if you want to talk to somebody about it, if you want to talk to the county, there'll be all sorts of information right on that specific website about his project. And all you have to do really to search it is search the name or the address, 736 Queenstown or Corey Belt. Do you have any other questions? No?
Yeah, I kind of do. So you're gonna tear everything out, right?
Well, not everything, but what's back here for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. You're gonna tear all that out.
Siding on
Yeah, whatever.
Does he have to replace it all with the grass or?
Yeah, so it'll be seeded and mulched after it's removed. Like the straw they put down, seed, it's grass seed and straw. And then over time it will become just lawn.
Well, okay, then the other fact, if you're saying that over time,
Went too far.
all right, the land takes it back. The land takes everything back if you don't touch it.
Right. And that's kind of what they hope for, because they want this buffer to be undisturbed.
Mike, so when people were doing the work, they didn't bother to check it? Is that what you're telling me?
A lot of people don't know it, you know, it's new news to people that, number one, that this is even a stream, because it kind of looks like a drainage ditch,
Yeah.
because it was straightened.
Yeah.
And number two, few people know that, you know, there's a 100-foot buffer off of streams and the other requirements of the code. They find out in this case, but that's my job to steer him through that process.
So how come he has to do a buffer on this side?
Well, it's just
It's
along
only
his
to a
property.
certain point.
Here's his property.
Yeah, but why does he have to go farther?
He doesn't, he's not removing anything past this line.
No, I meant
Pass
when
this
you're looking on this side, why is the buffer going all the way
The
past
buffer's-
the garage?
Well, the buffer just goes, is 100 feet off the stream as far as the stream goes in both directions. It's just
So
not
he's
his property
putting-
anymore.
He's not putting it, yeah, he shouldn't pay if it's not his property.
Right, this
Actually, the
line's
state
out.
should be paying him for the rental of it.
Yes, but, you know, what can you do?
Yeah, I know.
Any other questions?
I like saying wow.
All right,
That's-
like I said, my name is Carl, and my company is called Nearshore. You can see our name all over the stuff if you go on the county website and you search this project. And the project is 736 Queenstown Rd, that's the name of it. And once you get on there, if you have any questions, there'll be numbers and contacts and things that you can.
So is one of the reasons because he went too far back?
Yeah, I mean, technically he could, if he would have came with the driveway right through here and done that, then he wouldn't have to deal with all this. But because that's within that buffer, it's it has a lot of laws that go along with it. All right,
Okay.
everybody good? Ready to stop the recording and